Hi there, I'm Claire Bestland, and I'm a guitar slinger, singer-songwriter, and composer who a few years ago ran to the hills of Wakefield, Quebec, and never left. And I'm really glad I stayed, because today I get to be your host of Outaouais Live, the weekly arts magazine series devoted to showcasing the unique arts and culture of the Outaouais region of West Quebec. Each episode, we showcase artists of all practices, as well as venues, galleries, and cultural and performance spaces from all over the rural region of the Outaouais. Now, ever since I came here, I've been wondering what it is about this area that attracts so many creative people of like mind. From artisans to craftspeople to musicians, visual artists, painters, writers. Maybe there's something in the water. Now, if I keep talking like this, it might turn out you do have all day. But for now, why don't you kick back, relax, and come along for a ride with us to experience the artistic side of life right here on Outaouais Live. On today's episode, we have Mia Kelly coming at you. Mia Kelly is a young singer-songwriter who is very skilled and powerful vocally. And I've witnessed her myself infect audiences with her raw energy a number of times. She's been listed as one of the Ottawa Citizens Artists to Watch in 2020, and we'll get to see her today in 2021 perform at Brennan's Hill Restaurant and Bar. Brennan's Hill Restaurant and Bar is a historical landmark in the Gatineau River Valley, and we're going to be speaking to the proprietors, Tara Wakeling Monette and Billy Monette. Billy's family has owned the venue for several generations. And then after that, we're going to toddle on over to the studio of Glen Foster. Glen is not only a builder of fine furniture, he's also a photographer specializing in mirror images, as well as a photographic printer. Glen's going to take us into his studio and show us some of his prints and speak to us about his life and practice as an artist.
Hi, my name is Mia Kelly, and I'm a singer-songwriter from Gatineau. I kind of first realized that I really liked being on stage and performing when I got enrolled into musical theater class and just fell in love with singing and being on stage. And so then at about 11, I started taking music lessons and piano lessons and guitar lessons, and then slowly but surely I would get shows. I actually don't really know how the shows started, and then I started songwriting when I was about 14 years old and have not stopped since. I actually started songwriting when a friend of mine was going through a really difficult time in her life, and I didn't know how to react to that, and so it just kind of came out in a song in history class. And then I kind of rushed home, and it always happens like this where the melody and the words always come together and I don't really have to think about them too much, which is kind of handy. It's like a little gift. But then and then I have to figure out what are the chords that go with the melody. And most of the time, even though I learned piano first, I pick up the guitar when I'm songwriting. Yeah. When I was about 12 years old, I enrolled myself into the Be in the Band program, and I got stuck with. They were lovely, but they were very intimidating 17-year-old boys who are not thrilled to have a 12-year-old little girl singing the songs with them. And so I really had to learn how to kind of stand my ground and say what I wanted and what I liked to sing and what I didn't want to sing, and which was difficult at the time, but it really, I think, really helped me kind of grow into the musician I am today. The music industry is so unpredictable, as we've seen, and I think if I can just keep doing what I do and then see how it naturally evolves, I'll be really happy to see where it goes. I do a lot of songwriting with my friend Nick, who is in a local band called Leverage for Mountains. And so I know that before the pandemic, we wanted to do kind of a tour and do some joint shows together where I would be opening, or we'd kind of split the bill, which would be super fun. And so just to know that I have a lot of connections across Canada and people that I enjoy songwriting and singing with is really comforting in the potential future of my career. I mean, I definitely think that the people in the communities that we're in are just, there's so much passion and talent and, willingness to share and inclusion and warmth. And it's really that that fosters more creativity and more talent and more opportunities for other people to grow. And so, you know, it's just kind of this giant melting pot of talent and warmth. And I've always felt super encouraged and welcomed in any artistic space or any space really at all in this area. And so it's really something to be proud of and something to be grateful for, is to be part of this community. This is a song called Well My Dear that I released last summer and I wrote when I was traveling. Well, my dear, I know you've got the time to fool around in circles round the town while looking for love you lost mine. Well, my dear, I know you've got a dime to spend on games, all those drinking nights in vain, forgetting that you forget me all the time. 'Cause you can spend your money, you can spend your days in so many different ways, and you can waste your hours, you can pay your dues. Just know that the whole time I'll be missing you. Yeah. Well, my dear, I know you can be kind behind that scowl, even when you howl in rage. I can see it in your eyes. And ooh, my dear, please hold me in your arms. And I need to know that tomorrow you won't go away, never knowing where you are. 'Cause you can spend your money, you can spend your days in so many different ways, and you can waste your hours, you can pay your dues. Just know that the whole time I'll be missing you. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Well, my dear, I know you won't turn yourself around. I hope you know that I gave up trying long ago, no longer wishing to be found. 'Cause you can spend your money, you can spend your days in so many different ways, and you can waste your hours, you can pay your dues. Just know that the whole time I'll be missing you. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I'll be missing you. This next song is a song that I wrote this week actually, and it's in French, and it's about daydreaming. Je me réveille le matin, puis je commence à rêver. La tête dans les nuages, en se levant de l'oreiller. Je n'ai qu'un pied sur la terre, puis j'ai peur qu'il décolle. J'enfilerai mes bas de fer, je passerai pas pour une folle. Dans les bras de Morphée, je me construis un royaume. Une toile d'araignée pour les maux de ce monde. Comme filet, comme fossé, quand je me sens rancunière. Oh, je me construis un royaume pour quand ça dégénère. Je rêve d'une vie somnambule, puis je veux pas être pincé. Bon de moi les deux yeux, viens me cambrioler. Amène-moi au château où je règne sans gravité. Je veux me perdre dans les murs de ma naïveté. Entre les bras de Morphée, je me construis un royaume. Une toile d'araignée pour les maux de ce monde. Comme filet, comme fossé, quand je me sens rancunière. Oh, je me construis un royaume pour quand ça dégénère. Oh, je me construis un royaume et je suis la prisonnière. Thank you.
Okay, well,
I'll let you introduce both of us.
my name is Tara Shippers, and this is my husband, Billy Manette. We are the owners of the Brennan Bar and Restaurant.
As far as I know, it was a John Kelly built it in 1901, and he sold it to Louis Manette in 1903 or 1908.
Or 6.
It was either 3 or 8, I think. And then he sold it to his son was Bitsis, and Bitsis would bootleg. There was no liquor licenses, no licenses, so the train used to stop at the bottom of the hill down here, and they would smuggle up booze on the train, or they would. My father was a truck driver, and they were delivering pulp all the time CIP, and they would send the truckers down with wood and bring a load of whiskey back, and they'd hide it in the shed in the back and had it all over. And my grandfathers were all bootleggers. That's how the place started. There was no liquor license, and then when they got the liquor license, apparently they had to get it. They had to get permission. The parish priest had to
Give the authorization.
give authorization for them to be able to get the liquor license. And they got their liquor license, and then it was a whole new story. And it was
So it's been in your family.
Bitsis was the big bootlegger, and then he sold it to my dad. And my dad had it, and he died in '68. And my older brother Guy took over. He ran it for a few years. And then my other brother Frankie took over. He ran it for a couple of years. And they went, they didn't like it too much. And then I took it over in '81. And I've been here ever since.
Well, whenever the train used to come up, it was like it served as a hotel.
Yeah.
So up above, there was
Rooms.
Yeah, there was how many rooms were there?
12.
12. Yeah.
12
So
rooms there. And it was a full-time cook. And then when they come up here and start developing the area, they brought in the the Bell telephone lines come in, the hydro lines come in, and all these people had to stay here. And then they come in and they wanted us to put, because we was renting rooms, you need fire code doors, gyprock, and they were really pushing you out of that because you weren't up to par. You were in an old building. And we just decided, we just made an apartment upstairs and we lived there, and we cut the rooms out. Kept some of the rooms for the locals who had too much trouble getting home, or their wives kicked them out.
If the walls in this building could talk, and sometimes I wonder if they do, the stories that they would say would just be...
When I was serving booze when I was in my diapers. Basically, I was born and raised in this bar. And like I told her, I said, like, if the stories that could be told, I would have written, when I got old enough to write every day, write down a little journal, just put little things that happened during the day. Over the years, I could probably write a hell of a book. But a lot of divorce cases, it'd be good for the lawyers.
Since we've ran it together, we've renovated the whole place. We've changed it, and we've made it more of an event venue. We've changed with the times, you know, and we've brought in different...
If you don't change the times, you get left behind.
Yeah, so now we have like the Wakefield Theatre comes in, and they've done plays, and we've had the movies showings here. Comedy nights have been huge. Like, they've been a great full house for us. St. Patrick's Day is our biggest night of the year because there's so much Irish up around here, eh? So, you know, and on St. Patrick's Day, who doesn't think that they're Irish?
There's lots of people up here that I've never known in my life, and I know everybody up here. And all of a sudden, I meet people saying, "Who the hell is that? Where did they come from?" Well, we've been living in Brennan for 3 years. Where the hell have you been living? You know what I mean? Like, it's just not the same. It's all old families up here, and everybody knows everybody from their grandfathers to their grandchildren, and it just goes around that way.
But more new people are showing up, and that's how we're going to survive, is having...
You have to have new people.
Yeah, and because people want to support local. They want to support local, they want to come out, they want to meet their neighbors. And that's what we sort of hold. We hold a place for community.
My name's Glen Foster. Lived in the Outaouais for 35 odd years. Started in Old Chelsea, Farm Point, now Wakefield. I like living in Outaouais. Quebec, I like Quebec. And it's a beautiful part of Quebec, kind of a forgotten part of Quebec, which is one of its appeals. Well, I guess growing up, I liked music, woodworking, photography. I did all those things, but one had to be sensible and get a proper job. So I found a compromise with biology, which my mother thought was a little more towards the artistic side than she'd like. So I did that for 7 years, worked in a university, and then eventually, I guess the pull was too strong. I thought, no, I've got to pursue these creative endeavors, for whatever reason. And so I left the university and started to build furniture for a living, which wouldn't say is art, it's a craft. I just like to be working with my hands and making things. So it's a job. You get up and get at it and build the pieces, and I become known. People have their commissions. Can you build something like this? Well, I do that. But at the same time, I develop my own style, my own designs, become known for that. Often then the commissions fold into designs that I do. You know, I'm not reinventing the wheel. You end up, this is what I'm good at, this is what I do. And so I develop these designs. And the idea with the designs, I like simple, I like clean. It's all about good proportions. As they say, if I want to improve something, what can I remove? What can I add? Keep it simple. Shaker, it all started with the shaker designs. And then I worked from that, either modifying shaker designs, just that, what's the term, not sentiment, that feeling of clean, neat. I guess it's modern, you know, and that's sort of my shtick. I decided I was going to be a woodworker. I became a woodworker. Then I thought, well, I have to learn how to do it. And there is somebody local who was absolutely a mentor to me at the beginning. That was John Mickey up in Rupert, who showed me how to straighten a board, how to work, you know, woodworking 101. He was great. Gave me the footing, the foot in on how to do it. With design, reading, magazines, books. It was before internet, just like soaking it all in. Then I had a camera around my neck at the age of 5 or 6, little black and blue plastic thing. I just always took pictures. And then eventually got my dark room. And then summer job, I could buy my nice new SLR. I love my Olympus OM1. I got 3 of them now. And I did it just as a hobby, as a pastime. And then with the digital world, I just eventually got enraptured by what the possibilities were. I've been working with the digital side of things ever since. I love printing, so I print for people. Art photography, I do like taking pictures of art. It's something about it is satisfying. It seems I can do it well, so that's great. 20 years ago, an artist said to me, yeah, but your work is just, it's kind of like random. And I said, oh, I'm going to prove her wrong. So I work with intent now. She said, you don't have intent. Well, now I do. So I work in series, you know, and what I found myself doing was the elements: earth, fire, water. And I would just explore those elements, the raw elements, and I create worlds from these elements. So it's not straight photography in any way. That's not what I'm doing now. I'm creating the images from the raw elements, which is basically what the world's made up of. So that's kind of my shtick with the photography that I'm working on now. I always played piano all my whole life. When I went to university, I kept at it, big time. There's a music school right beside the university that I would go down to and practice in the evenings and the mornings. And then when I moved to the Outaouais, I thought, I need a piano. And a Polish friend of mine said, well, buy one. And I said, I can't afford a piano. So I started teaching in order to pay for the piano. And it turned out to be a good source of income for me. It worked out well. I was at a meeting a few years ago with the CLD people, and a woman who worked there, Claudine, said, why are there so many artists living in this area? And I replied, well, because it's affordable. And I think there's truth in that. It's inexpensive. It has been inexpensive to live here. It's not anymore. But I do feel that's a draw. I mean, you know, artists as a rule don't make a lot of money. Well, some do, but on average, it's a pretty poor compensation, and it's affordable. And there's a network, as you say, lots of people. So there's lots of synergies happen with the communities of artists and creators that are in the Outaouais.
I wanted to pick at least one happy song for this show, and so I decided to pick my song that talks about how terrified I am of the climate crisis. And yeah, I hope it cheers you up. And this is called All Aboard the Sinking Ship. All aboard the sinking ship, the seas will rise, we're melting quick. The shadows grow, the air gets thick. Come on, all aboard the sinking ship. The tales were tall and then they grew. The fears, the signs, they were all true. Our mama cried, more black than blue. The tales were tall, but that we knew. Stay. The devil laughs and starts to play. Live in hell just stays away. dark and the water rose. We fear the clock, everybody knows. The time it runs, then out it goes. We fear the clock, everybody knows. Aboard the sinking ship, the seas they rose, yeah, we melted quick. The sky got dark, the air got thick. Come on, all aboard the sinking